The South African Rotax Max Challenge highlights are brought to you by Ed Murray Racing and its associate sponsors. So we kick things off with the Vereniging Kart circuit where the African Open was held, and we saw a bit of dominance in the Micro Max class by the likes of Reza Levy, opening a significant gap very early on. There he is out there already, several kart lengths ahead of the rest of the pack. And there is Reza Levy, fists in the air, a job well done to him, taking it ahead of all the other young boys. Earning himself a ticket there to go and support his compatriots out in Sarno, Italy. Well done to him. And where the mini-maxes were concerned, plenty drama. Vereniging showing its best and testing them to the max with a huge crash right at the beginning before any of the karts had gotten anywhere. Luckily, no serious casualties. A bit of sportsmanship there. Some of the karters helping each other out with the injuries. But few minor incidents involving one Luvuyo Sambudla, but otherwise after a red flag there was a restart, which there's an incident we mentioned there. Muhammad Wali went on to take the checkered flag in signature style, fist in the air. Well done to him. Another young man getting himself a ticket to go out and be a super fan of his compatriots in Italy, Sarno. Now, you know, we're talking Junior Max when you mention the names Leighton Fourie, Kutsia Alibai, as well as Tate Bishop. They definitely kept it all competitive, keeping things very tight and close together at the head of the Junior Max field. Now, a few casualties of those competitive races, one of them being Leighton Fourie there, coming too close together with that is Tate Bishop, as you can see there in the shot. He basically compromised his race, and ultimately Akil Alibai had the widest elbows out and managed to secure himself a C2 Sarno. And that would secure him, of course, a second running in competition for the Junior Max class overseas. Senior Max competitive as always. Wayland Wyman there, living up to his reputation as the wild man, working his way up to from 8th, working his way up and winning the race by a comfortable margin, but no slouches ahead of him in overtaking. There you had a Simpson Heath, you had the likes of Jason Kutsia also, and one Crystal all the way from the UAE working his stuff in the heat of Vereniging. Bit of a change in temperatures for him, but Wyman showed him where he's at. He showed him that this is my territory and this is how we do things. And boy does he, because he secured himself with this win a ticket to Sarno to race in the DD2 class, just as he did last year in Brazil. Well done to him, taking it ahead of one Shir Naidu and Jason Kutsia. Now coming to the DD2 class, it is a welcome to the Brad and Ben show, as Brad Limburg leads the class ahead of Benjamin Habich and one Jamie Smith. Among other youngsters like Jason Kutsia also competes in the Senior Max class, but Brad Limburg opened a class and signature lead ahead of Benjamin Habich and Jamie Smith there, securing himself a win in the DD2 class. But ultimately he would have to forfeit his seat in the DD2 competition overseas for saloon car commitments, where he's leading 2 championships. But well done to him, Benjamin Habich as well as Jamie Smith. Now, of course, the DD2 Masters have to show people how it's done, but we do have a young master in the form of Eugene Brits. Now, although he doesn't qualify to be a master given his age, he is eligible to compete amongst them, showing what he can do and will be doing in the future. But it was all about Jonathan Peterson and Stern. It was one of those 2 gentlemen that had to secure themselves a seat. And ultimately, even though Eugene Brits took the race among the big boys, it was Peterson who got himself a ticket and his seat, making his return to Italy Sarno just as he was there in 2016. Now, round 1 of the Rotax Max Challenge South Africa starts in Killarney Circuit, Cape Town.
Bambino's is the 5 to 9-year-old. You'll notice that's a very broad age limit, but honestly with the kids, you don't know how big the child is when he's 5 and you don't know how big he's going to be when he's 8. And we've got, for example, little Christian, who is quite tall and he's just turned 6, and we've got little Sepang Sishinwana, who's turning 9 later this year, and he's really short. So we cater for a broad overlap. The bigger kids can move on to Micromax, but the little guys can stay a bit longer.
Now, Tepang Shishinwana reigning supreme in Cape Town, taking the first win in race 1, fists in the air as always, and followed up by some battling there between Shishinwana, Karim and Mostert, as well as Ordendal, never missing out of the action. And Ryan Karim as well as Luan Mostert, they have to fight for who gets all the credit as the main homeboy down in Cape Town. The 2 local boys battling it out very fiercely there, but with Shishinwana always in the background lurking, trying to look for an opportunity. It was a very tight space to try and squeeze in between, and Ryan Karim did not make it easy, maintaining the lead a lot of the time, but Lewin Mostert never letting him to get away as much as he would think. Shishinwana slipping in there and taking some opportunities, but ultimately Mostert would also put his elbows out and try, earn his spot among the big boys. A bit of a spin out there for Caleb Odendaal, unfortunately, but Shishinwana able to secure the win and take an opportunity amongst the Cape Town boys. Now, race 3 proved it actually is the Bambino class. A lot of argy-bargy there as we have a bit of a spin there. Jordan Wadley causing a concertina of note, closed up with Jack Moore. Had to have a red flag and a restart. Ultimately, Caleb Odendaal leading the pack after the restart. Shishinwana in tow with his mini Lewis Hamilton helmet there. Lewin Mostert not letting him go by, though, sliding down the inside of his right shoulder, that is. That is one Ryan Karim also proving that he's got the goods just ahead of Shishinwana, and he's able to get his own back for the Cape Town boys, securing race 3. And overall, it is a man from Gauteng, Tsepang Shishinwana, who leads from round 1 ahead of Ryan Karim and Lewin Mostert. Now, round 2 saw a trip up the coast to a wet Kelso Scribante kart circuit where a lot of challenging conditions were served up to the young racers. And I'm curious to see what the mothers think of these conditions their sons are facing.
I feel mixed emotions when I see Rayan on the racetrack. Happy, sad, nervous. My tummy just turns. Whatever Rayan experienced, that is, I basically have to support him in whatever he just experienced, whether it was a bad outcome, whether it was a good outcome. I just want him to make a success out of his dream, and I hope that he pursues all his dreams in racing, because I know Rayan loves karting and driving and racing.
So there's Caleb Moss leading the pack in pole position ahead of Krauser, as well as one Ryan Karim there. But championship leader Tsepang Shishinwana in the background. And speaking of the background, Miles Krauser there trying to lap his sister Arabelle and knocks her into an unfortunate casualty, Troy van der Laan. Another casualty there, Ryan Karim losing out, and ultimately Moss does take the honors. In race 3, van der Laan takes pole position honors, recovering from a bad race 2 ahead of Krauser as well as Karim there. But unfortunately, van der Laan spins out again, leaving Caleb Moss, local man, to follow in suit. Spinning out, clearly the conditions are unpredictable. Local man couldn't see that one coming. And ultimately, Krauser takes the win for race 3, local boy, proving that he's got the credentials. But overall, he and Caleb Moss, being the local boys, proved it, having a 1-2 finish there ahead of the Cape Town boys, Lewin Mostert and Ryan Karim. Round 3 was hosted at the Idube Raceway in KZN, the most scenic and challenging karting circuit on the calendar.
I really love to watch Kai race because it makes him happy, and it's something that he really enjoys and that he's good at. There are a few moments that take my breath away, where it's super tight and Kai is passing another karter that my heart skips a beat.
And in race 2, going into the lead was Van Rensburg, earning himself a decent pole position, having stolen second place there from Van der Laan. A bit of action, bit of tight racing scene here. Shishinwana was the non-factor given his position in the championship. He was out of the top 5 for most of this weekend. A bit of a argy-bargy there. Karim also proving he can strut his stuff in the 3rd round in Idube. Nothing too difficult for the young man, taking the lead there. And ultimately, he saw the checkered flag first ahead of Odendaal as well as Caleb Moss. Now in race 3, Lewin Mostert all but ran away with it, taking the checkered flag there ahead of one Caleb Moss, who is putting his name down in this championship and becoming more of a factor. Ryan Karim taking overall honors in first place ahead of Odendaal and Caleb Moss. Now looking at the final round at Swartkops International Kart Raceway on a hot and windy day in Pretoria. Tsepang Shishinwana had it all to play for against Ryan Karim, nothing in it between them there. But ultimately, having done all the work in race 1, Shishinwana had to continue what he had already started in race 2, finding a way on the inside of 3 or 4 riders abreast of him. Odendaal, one of the drivers there, as well as Keegan Beaumont, he took race 2, celebrating the young man there. And then in race 3, a little bit of the same, very competitive class. Caleb Moss putting his elbows among them there. Sisinwana having to work his way up from the back. Ryan Karim still not a factor to try and bother his challenge. He manages to take race 3 as well. There he is going on the inside of one Caleb Moss. It was a different story though going into race 4. Sisinwana does take the lead going at the beginning with one Mostert right behind him in second place there. But a non-factor was Ryan Karim, who was supposed to, before this race, right on the bumper of Sisinwana to actually be able to take the championship. And I did a lot of work on the day and ultimately brought in the results ahead of one Luan Mostert and Caleb Moss. But ultimately, the bigger picture was that he secured the championship over Ryan Karim and Luan Mostert. Join us after the break for more action from the Rotax Max Challenge.